Welcome to Fluent English Now, the podcast where we dive deep into the art and science of learning English with ease, clarity, and confidence. I'm Leslie, your host, and in today's episode, we're exploring one of the most essential aspects of language learning, your mindset. That's right. When it comes to learning a language, your mindset can be just as powerful as any textbook, app, or teacher. I like to think of it as the blueprint for mastery, the essential attitudes and practices that make language learning not only possible, but enjoyable and deeply rewarding. When we talk about learning a language, we often focus on tools and techniques, what app to use, how to memorize vocabulary, the best ways to practice grammar. And while these things are important, the mental approach you bring to learning is what will sustain you through the highs and lows, making your journey feel less like a chore and more like an adventure. Today, we'll explore 8 key mindsets that can transform your language learning experience: growth, curiosity, patience, confidence, persistence, humility, adaptability, and optimism. These mindsets aren't just nice-to-have qualities, they're essential tools that will help you navigate the challenges and celebrate the victories along your path to fluency. Each one plays a crucial role in turning what might seem like an overwhelming task into an achievable and enjoyable journey. One of the most powerful mindsets you can develop is what psychologist Carol Dweck calls the growth mindset. This is the deep-seated belief that our abilities aren't fixed, but can grow and improve through dedicated effort and practice. When it comes to language learning, this mindset is absolutely crucial. It means understanding that making mistakes isn't just okay. It's an essential part of the learning process. Think about how children learn their first language. They make countless mistakes, but they keep going completely unbothered. They naturally embody this growth mindset, and we can learn so much from their approach. Every time you mix up a verb conjugation or mispronounce a word, you're not failing. You're actively learning and growing. One practical way to embrace this mindset is to keep what I call a mistake log. Instead of feeling embarrassed about your errors, write them down. Each mistake becomes a valuable lesson, pointing you toward areas that need more attention. When you review your log later, you'll often find that mistakes that once seemed major have become simple to avoid, giving you concrete proof of your progress. Remember, every fluent speaker was once a beginner who made the exact same mistakes you're making now. The only real difference between those who succeed and those who give up is their mindset. Those who embrace their mistakes as learning opportunities are the ones who ultimately achieve fluency. Curiosity is like a powerful engine that drives language learning forward. When you approach a new language with genuine interest and wonder, you unlock a natural motivation that makes learning feel less like work and more like exploration. Think about how fascinating it is that different languages can express the same idea in completely different ways, each reflecting unique cultural perspectives and ways of thinking. The key to maintaining this curiosity is to engage with the language in diverse and interesting ways. While textbooks provide a solid foundation, the real magic happens when you immerse yourself in authentic materials. Watch movies in your target language, even if you don't understand everything at first. Listen to music and try to catch familiar words. Read comic books, where pictures provide helpful context for new vocabulary. Each of these different approaches offers a fresh window into the language. Maybe you'll discover that certain expressions don't translate directly, or you'll notice interesting patterns in how native speakers communicate in different situations. These discoveries become little treasures that fuel your desire to learn more. Try following social media accounts in your target language. Even short posts can teach you current slang and everyday expressions that you might not find in traditional learning materials. Cook using recipes in your target language, where you'll learn practical vocabulary while creating something delicious. The more varied your exposure to the language, the more interesting patterns and connections you'll notice. Remember, every new word or phrase you learn has a story behind it, a reason why it's used in certain ways. When you approach language learning with this sense of wonder, you'll find yourself naturally wanting to dig deeper, to understand not just the words themselves, but the rich cultural context that gives them meaning. Patience is your greatest ally in this journey. Learning a language isn't a sprint, it's a marathon that requires steady, consistent effort. Often, we're so eager to see progress that we forget to enjoy the process. But each small step is valuable. Imagine each new word, each new phrase, as a small deposit into your language bank. Over time, these deposits compound, building a foundation for true fluency. To stay motivated, set milestones rather than deadlines. Instead of telling yourself, "I must be fluent in 6 months," set goals like, "I want to have a 5-minute conversation in the language," or "I want to be able to read a short story." This approach measures progress in a way that celebrates achievements without the pressure of a rigid timeline. Remember that language learning follows a natural rhythm. Sometimes you'll make rapid progress, and other times you'll feel like you're standing still. These plateaus are normal and temporary. During these times, focus on reinforcing what you already know, rather than pushing desperately forward. Like a garden needs time to grow, your language skills need time to take root and flourish. Practice mindful appreciation of your progress. Take a moment each week to notice what you can do now that you couldn't do before. Maybe you understood a few more words in that podcast, or perhaps you constructed a sentence without having to think so hard. These small victories add up to significant progress over time. When it comes to building confidence in language learning, taking action is essential. The key is to start speaking early, even if you don't feel completely ready. Think of it like learning to swim. At some point, you need to get into the water. Language exchange groups are fantastic for building confidence. These supportive communities bring together learners at different levels, creating a safe space where everyone understands the challenges of learning a new language. In these groups, you'll find that others share your struggles and victories, making the journey feel less daunting and more collaborative. Let's talk about small talk missions. These are simple, achievable speaking tasks you set for yourself in everyday situations. Start with ordering a coffee, asking for directions, or commenting on the weather. Each successful interaction, no matter how brief, builds your confidence naturally. The beauty of these missions is that they turn ordinary moments into opportunities for practice. Remember, you don't need perfect grammar or an extensive vocabulary to start speaking. Native speakers are usually more impressed by your willingness to try than your ability to speak perfectly. Each conversation, even if it's just a few words, strengthens your speaking muscles and builds your confidence. Set yourself up for success by preparing for these conversations in advance. Practice key phrases, anticipate responses, and keep it simple. As your comfort grows, gradually increase the complexity of your interactions. Before you know it, you'll find yourself engaging in longer conversations with growing ease and confidence. Persistence is what separates successful language learners from those who give up along the way. It's about showing up day after day, even when progress feels slow or challenges seem insurmountable. Think of persistence as the steady drumbeat that keeps you moving forward on your language learning journey. Creating small, consistent habits is crucial. Maybe it's reviewing 5 new vocabulary words each morning with your coffee, listening to a target language podcast during your commute, or spending 10 minutes before bed reading in your new language. These might seem like tiny steps, but they add up to significant progress over time. Remember that plateaus are normal and temporary. There will be days when you feel stuck, when certain grammar concepts just won't click, or when pronunciation feels impossible to master. This is exactly when persistence matters most. Keep showing up, keep practicing, and trust that these challenging periods are preparing you for your next breakthrough. Instead of focusing on big dramatic improvements, celebrate the small daily wins. Did you understand a few more words in a conversation today? That's progress. Did you finally nail the pronunciation of a tricky word? That's worth celebrating. These little victories are the building blocks of fluency, and persistence helps you stack them one by one. When it comes to language learning, humility isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. It's about embracing the fact that you're a beginner and understanding that every language learner, no matter how advanced, started exactly where you are now. Think of humility as the key that unlocks endless learning opportunities. When you approach conversations with native speakers without ego, you transform potentially stressful situations into valuable learning experiences. Rather than feeling embarrassed about mistakes, see them as stepping stones to improvement. Each correction becomes a gift, not a criticism. One of the most beautiful aspects of humility in language learning is how it opens doors to genuine connections. When you're humble enough to admit you're learning, you'll find that most people are incredibly supportive and eager to help. They appreciate your effort to learn their language and often become informal teachers, sharing idioms, cultural insights, and everyday expressions you won't find in any textbook. Remember, even the most fluent speakers were once beginners. They stumbled over words, mixed up tenses, and made the same mistakes you're making now. Embracing this truth with humility makes the journey not just more pleasant, but more effective too. Learning a language is like navigating a vast ocean. What works in calm waters might not serve you in a storm. That's why adaptability is crucial to your success. Every learner's journey is unique, and the key is finding what resonates with your personal learning style and circumstances. Some days, traditional textbook learning might feel right, while other days, you might learn more from watching movies or chatting with language partners. Pay attention to what energizes you and what drains you. If memorizing vocabulary lists feels tedious, try learning words through songs or stories instead. If group classes aren't yielding results, consider one-on-one tutoring or self-study methods. Your learning needs will evolve as you progress. What worked perfectly at the beginner level might need adjustment as you advance. Be ready to experiment with different approaches, whether it's switching up your study schedule, trying new apps, or changing your learning environment. The most successful language learners are those who stay flexible and aren't afraid to change course when necessary. Let's talk about the power of optimism in your language learning journey. Think of optimism as the sunlight that helps your language skills grow and flourish. When you maintain a positive outlook, even the most challenging aspects of learning become opportunities rather than obstacles. Every time you sit down to study, imagine yourself confidently speaking your target language. Picture yourself chatting effortlessly with native speakers, understanding your favorite shows without subtitles, or delivering a presentation in your new language. These positive visualizations aren't just daydreams, they're powerful tools that prime your mind for success. Your internal dialogue matters immensely. Instead of thinking, "This grammar rule is too difficult," try, "I'm getting closer to understanding this." Rather than, "I'll never speak like a native," tell yourself, "Every conversation makes me more fluent." These small shifts in thinking create a momentum that carries you forward, even on challenging days. Remember that every successful language learner started exactly where you are now. They face the same uncertainties and challenges, but their optimistic mindset helped them persist. By staying positive and focusing on progress rather than perfection, you're not just learning a language, you're building the confidence and resilience needed for long-term success. Let's bring together everything we've discussed today. 8 powerful mindsets can transform your language learning journey. Growth mindset that embraces mistakes, curiosity that fuels discovery, patience that keeps you steady, confidence that grows with practice, persistence that pushes you forward, humility that opens you to learning, adaptability that helps you find your path, and optimism that lights the way. Remember that mastering a language is more than memorizing vocabulary or perfecting grammar. It's about embracing a journey that will expand your mind, enrich your life, and connect you with people and cultures around the world. Each word you learn, each conversation you have, brings you closer to your goals. As you continue on your language learning path, carry these mindsets with you like trusted companions. They'll support you through challenges, celebrate your victories, and help you maintain momentum. Your potential for language mastery is limitless, and with the right mindset, you're already on your way to achieving it. Thank you so much for tuning in to Fluent English Now. We truly appreciate your time and dedication to improving your language skills. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our podcast. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. We'd be thrilled if you could share this podcast with your friends and fellow language learners. Together, we can build a community of confident English speakers. Remember, the key to success is consistency. So keep practicing and, most importantly, keep speaking English.